You've probably used a dry cleaner hundreds of times. You think it's a simple business. You drop off clothes, they clean them, you pick them up. Basic service, low margins, boring business. You're wrong. And what you're about to discover will make you question every transaction you've ever had with a dry cleaner. Here's the shock. Dry cleaning businesses are systematically profiting from your procrastination, your forgetfulness, and your psychological inability to do laundry yourself. They're not just cleaning clothes, they're exploiting human weakness. And the margins are extraordinary. 1 in 7 items brought to a dry cleaner is never picked up. 1 in 7. That's not a bug in the system, that's the profit engine. A dry cleaning business owner knows something you don't know about yourself. You will abandon clothes, forget pickups, pay storage fees for your own negligence, and continue coming back because you've created a psychological dependency on their service. This is the hidden reality behind an industry generating billions in annual revenue. And once you understand how it works, you'll realize you've been paying for your own behavioral weaknesses. Let's start with what you think dry cleaning is. You believe you're paying for cleaning labor. Chemicals, expertise in garment care, the skill of professionals handling delicate fabrics. That's the surface-level story you tell yourself. But that's not the actual business model. That's the justification for the business model. The real business doesn't start when clothes arrive. It starts when they don't leave. Here's how it actually works. A customer brings in 5 shirts. The dry cleaner charges $6 per shirt. That's $30. You think that's the transaction, but it's not. That's just the beginning. 1 shirt gets forgotten. 1 gets left because the customer changed their mind. 1 sits unworn. 1 takes 3 weeks to pick up instead of 3 days. 1 never comes back at all. That single $30 drop-off becomes $60, $80, sometimes over $100 when you add in the hidden fees. Late pickup charges, storage fees, rush fees for expedited service, alterations, upgrades, all triggered by the customer's own behavior. But here's what's more disturbing. The dry cleaner is betting on your failure. They're designing their entire business model around the assumption that you will forget, procrastinate, and abandon items. Your weakness is their revenue stream. Let's talk about the psychology that makes this work. Dry cleaning sells something far more valuable than clean clothes. It sells the psychological relief of surrendering responsibility. When you drop off clothes, you're not just handing over garments. You're handing over the burden of thinking about them. For that relief, you will pay remarkable prices. More than the clothes are worth. More than makes rational sense. Because the psychological relief is real. Your brain doesn't want to think about laundry. It doesn't want to spend time on it. It doesn't want to risk damaging delicate fabrics. So when a dry cleaner offers to take that problem away completely, you accept. Eagerly. This is insecurity masquerading as convenience. You're insecure about your ability to care for nice clothes. You're insecure about having time for mundane tasks. You're insecure about being the kind of person who does their own laundry. So you pay someone else to handle it. And you feel better about yourself for doing so. The dry cleaner understands this. They know you're not buying cleaning. You're buying relief from insecurity. They position themselves as experts. They use professional language. They create an atmosphere that makes you feel like you're making a sophisticated choice. In reality, you're outsourcing a task because you've convinced yourself you can't handle it anymore. Now let's talk about the business model that exploits this. Industry data shows that 10 to 15% of items brought to dry cleaners are never picked up. Think about that number. 1 in 7 items. Some are forgotten. Some customers go away. Some change their minds. Some simply procrastinate indefinitely and eventually decide the item isn't worth retrieving. When an item isn't picked up within 30 to 90 days, dry cleaners have legal options. They can dispose of items. They can donate them for tax write-offs. Or more profitably, they can sell them. Some dry cleaners have built entire side businesses around abandoned clothes. They organize unclaimed clothing sales where customers can buy items at steep discounts. An Armani suit dropped off for $25 in cleaning becomes a $60 resale item. A wedding dress abandoned for 3 months becomes a $200 resale. A designer winter coat becomes $80 in inventory. But the real genius isn't the abandoned item resale. It's the guilt cycle that follows. When a customer finally retrieves abandoned items months later, they feel guilty. That guilt makes them more likely to come back. They want to make up for the abandonment by continuing to be a customer. They're emotionally invested now. Some dry cleaners weaponize this guilt. They charge storage fees to $5 per item per week for anything left longer than 30 days. A customer who left 5 items for 3 months suddenly owes $60 in storage fees on top of the original cleaning charge. The guilt of abandonment meets the shock of fees, and the customer pays. They pay because they feel responsible. They pay because they feel guilty. They pay because they've already surrendered psychological control of the situation. And here's the insidious part. They come back. The guilt keeps them as customers. They're now doubly hooked. Hooked by habit. Hooked by guilt. This creates recurring dependency. A customer who brings clothes in twice a month for a year makes 24 transactions. The dry cleaner becomes embedded in their routine, not chosen. Habitual. Automatic. Once that habit forms, something remarkable happens. The customer stops price shopping. They don't compare rates with competitors across town. They don't question the charges. They simply go to their dry cleaner because changing would require changing a habit. And humans avoid changing habits with almost religious fervor. This habit dependency is worth massive money. A customer using a dry cleaner twice monthly for 5 years generates $3,600 in base revenue. But with ancillary fees, abandoned items, storage charges, and price insensitivity from habit, that customer generates $5,000 to $8,000 over 5 years. And the dry cleaner can raise prices 10%, 15%, even 20%. And most customers won't leave. They'll simply pay more because the habit is worth more than the money. This is greed masquerading as service. The dry cleaner has identified a revenue stream based on human weakness and is systematically extracting maximum value from it. Let's look at the actual economics. A typical dry cleaning shop has monthly overhead, $8,000, rent, utilities, equipment, insurance, monthly labor, $15,000, staff and owner, monthly supplies, $3,000, chemicals, hangers, bags, total monthly cost, $26,000. To break even, the shop needs $26,000 in monthly revenue. That's $650 per day. A shop cleaning 100 items daily at $8 per item generates $800 per day. That's $4,800 weekly. That's only $20,000 monthly. The shop is operating at a loss, but add the hidden revenue streams, alterations, plus $200 monthly store fees, plus $600 monthly, late pickup charges, plus $800 monthly, rush fees, $200 monthly, abandoned item sales, plus fuzz monthly, subscription memberships, plus $1,000 monthly. Sudden monthly revenue is $2,860. The shop is profitable. Very profitable, but it gets worse from the customer's perspective. The shop owner now raises regular cleaning from $8 to $9 per shirt. Most customers won't notice or leave. That's $3,000 additional monthly revenue. They create premium service tiers. Hand press costs 30% more. Luxury garment care costs 40% more. Customers accept because they've already decided dry cleaning is necessary. Suddenly, what looked like a barely profitable business at $26,000 monthly overhead is generating $35,000 to $40,000 monthly revenue. Profit margins of 30–50%. That's extraordinary for a service business. That's greed enabled by understanding human psychology. Location economics amplify this. A dry cleaner in a wealthy neighborhood charges $10 per shirt instead of $6. They charge $30 for alteration instead of $15. Subscription memberships cost $100 instead of $50. Customers are less price sensitive. They have more formal clothes. They're more likely to abandon items because they can afford to. A dry cleaner in an affluent zip code can generate $50,000 plus monthly revenue from the same operational footprint that generates $25. Zero in a middle-class area. The business model is identical. The exploitation of psychology is identical. The geography just changes the severity of the economics. This is why successful dry cleaning chains focus exclusively on wealthy areas. The profit extraction is fundamentally different. Now let's talk about what most people don't realize. Dry cleaning equipment doesn't scale. You can't press 50 shirts twice as fast. You can't chemically clean clothes more efficiently by having more volume. The labor to clean and press is relatively fixed. This means profitability depends entirely on utilization and ancillary revenue. A dry cleaner running at 75% equipment utilization is barely profitable. A dry cleaner at 95% utilization with high ancillary fees is extremely profitable. The gap between marginal and exceptional performance is thin, but it's determined entirely by how well the owner extracts revenue from customer behavior. Some dry cleaners have created counter-seasonal services to maintain utilization, wedding dress cleaning and preservation in spring, formal wear and fall for holiday season, winter coat storage in summer. This transforms a seasonal business into a steady revenue business. But the most sophisticated model is the subscription membership. Netflix style, pay $50 $100 monthly for unlimited dry cleaning. This is genius psychology on multiple levels. First, it guarantees recurring revenue. The owner knows exactly how much money is coming in monthly. Second, it creates psychological obligation. Customers feel like they need to use their subscription, so they bring more items than they otherwise would. They pressure themselves to justify the monthly cost. The dry cleaner gets more volume from the same customer. Third, it removes price sensitivity. Once you've paid $50 for unlimited monthly cleaning, you don't negotiate over individual shirt prices. You've already decided dry cleaning is worth it. Now you're just using it. Fourth, it creates a lock-in effect. Canceling the subscription feels like a failure. I paid for this and didn't use it. So customers stay subscribed even when they're not actively using the service. The subscription model is psychological manipulation wrapped in a business model. Now let's talk about disruption. Technology companies assumed app-based laundry services would destroy traditional dry cleaning. Startups launched. They promised on-demand pickup and delivery. They promised convenience. They promised to eliminate the need for physical dry cleaning stores. Most failed or scaled poorly. Why? Because they couldn't overcome the fundamental advantage of traditional dry cleaning. Complete psychological transfer of responsibility. When you use an app-based service, Your clothes are still your responsibility until pickup. You have to coordinate timing. You have to think about the clothes. You haven't fully surrendered the burden. But at a physical dry cleaning store, you hand over your clothes and you're done thinking about them. You've completely transferred responsibility. That psychological transfer is worth more than convenience. It's worth paying for. Additionally, app-based services faced unit economics problems. They had to pick up from multiple locations. They had to handle logistics. They couldn't achieve the operational density of physical stores. The cost structure didn't work. Dry cleaning survived because it solves a problem that technology can't improve. The human desire to not think about something anymore. Here's what should concern you. The dry cleaning industry is systematically profiting from your behavioral weaknesses, your procrastination, your forgetfulness, your insecurity about garment care, your desire to outsource responsibility. They've designed fees around your failure. They've built business models on your abandonment. They've created psychological dependency to guarantee recurring revenue. And you're paying for it, willingly, repeatedly. Without questioning it, the average customer spends $600 to $2,200 annually on dry cleaning. Over a lifetime, that's $30,000 to $60,000 spent on a service that exists because you've surrendered the ability to do laundry yourself. That money is extracted through habit that prevents price comparison, ancillary fees triggered by your behavior, psychological guilt that ensures you return, insecurity about garment care, convenience that you've decided is necessary. The dry cleaner is getting wealthy from your weaknesses, and the business model is specifically designed to exploit those weaknesses systematically. This is the economics of dry cleaning. Not a service business, a psychology extraction business, a dependency creation machine, a mechanism for converting your behavioral weaknesses into someone else's profit. The dry cleaner isn't your partner in garment care. They're your extractive relationship, and you're paying them to manage that extraction.